This month in the Putting Vault, we're talking about green reading, and this week we're talking about reading the hole, actually reading the cup itself. You should always do this, walk around the hole, walk past the hole quickly and take a glance. And let's just go out on the course and I'll show you what I'm looking for and why. First thing you can see if you look at the hole is you can see grain. Now, grain is grass. Some grasses grow virtually straight up. We have a lot of those in the Las Vegas area. They don't have any grain. Other grasses grow along the ground, along the top of the ground, in one direction or the other, and the direction they're growing in is called the grain. Here's how you see grain at the hole and how it influences your putts. See, grain is coming at this hole. See how it's growing over the edge there, and it's not around on the sides. That's because the grain is running that direction. This way the grain is growing, and you can see that there on the edge of the cup. The grass is crawling that direction. This is another example of grain. You see the grain is down that way. You also see the hole worn on that side and not as much on that side, and you see the grain going this way. So this is a putt from here is both uphill and against the grain, so it's a little extra uphill. Here's one where you see the grain growing in here, so the grain is running that way, but you also see it worn on this side of the cup, which means it's downhill that way. But you get both of those things. So I would just have the grain and the uphill downhill cancel out each other on this and treat it pretty much like a flat putt. So in addition to grain, a second thing you're looking for at the hole is a wear pattern. How does the ground around the hole, how does the edge of the cup look? Do you see an area where it's more worn out? Well, that's obviously an area that balls are going into the hole, and you want to take that into account in your green read. Here's some examples of that. You walk up and take a quick glance at the cup, and you see that this one side is much darker brown than the other. And you look back up the way and you see, oh, that's uphill. This side is much more worn. That's because putts are rolling downhill. This side is much more worn. That's because putts are rolling downhill this way, and because they're going downhill, they bounce off of this side of the cup. That's the downhill side, and that's more worn out and brown. And you're looking for spots and places and things like this where one corner of the hole is really chewed up, and you ask yourself, why is that? What's going on here? Well, that's obviously the low side of the hole where the ball's getting all the contact with the edges of the hole, and you can tell that. It's very plain. And so using the EGOS method, I don't normally take a second green read at the hole unless I'm playing in a tournament or a serious competitive event or there's money on the line. But in this instance, I would, because I know it's obviously breaking a different direction at the hole, and I want to get a read for that, see how large that gap is and how much to adjust for that. And a third thing that you're looking for when you look near the hole is footprints and marks and scuffs and things on the green that you might want to repair along your line. Nothing wrong with doing that. Don't spend a lot of time doing it, but take a look at it. So as you walk by the hole, you're looking for spots along your target line that might be a problem for you. A little spot like that right there. I'm going to fix that. Like I said, I'm going to fix that. So that's pretty quick covering, looking at the cup, reading the cup. You're looking for grain that might affect the speed or the direction that your putt breaks. You're looking for wear patterns in the hole that tell you how it breaks right at the cup, and if that's different from your initial read from the ball, you want to make an adjustment there. And then you're looking for obstacles and things along your way. And then you're also looking for, did the superintendent set the cup properly, and how you need to adjust for that. So a fourth thing you want to look at when you're reading the cup is the actual placement of the cup itself. Rules of golf say that there needs to be at least 1/2 of an inch of dirt between the top of the hole and where the actual cup itself sits. I see a lot of times greenskeepers don't do that, like in this example. This cup has way less than 1/2 an inch of dirt. So it's the ball that's rolling a little bit firm at this hole is going to hit the top of the plastic cup and be more likely to bounce out. I got to take that into consideration. So here's an example of a cup not cut deep enough. You see there's very little dirt between the ground and the cup. It should be deeper than that. Have a deeper spot in there. What happens is balls roll in here because that's too high up. There's no dirt between the top of the hole and the plastic cup. That the ball hits that, bounces out of the hole. Not a legal cup. This cup is set proper and deep. I see them sometimes an inch or even an inch and a half deep. That means the dirt at the top is a little softer than that plastic cup down below, which means I can be a little bit more aggressive and firm on these putts. Now, a lot of courses spray a ring of white paint from the cup up to the top of the dirt. I'm cool with that. Be sure that you look carefully. Some courses put a little thin, flimsy plastic liner in there, and that plastic liner really doesn't affect the ball bouncing out. But I've seen situations where that liner was just a teeny tiny bit above the top of the hole, above the line of the dirt. So your ball rolls up and hits that, and it jumps or bounces in or out or sideways. You got to learn to deal with that. And you also can see very quickly if the hole is crowned. So you look for these 4 things. When you read the hole, again, you're not taking much time. You can get all of that in a 2-second glance as you're walking past the hole. And then as you're walking back to your ball, you're thinking about, okay, what did I see there? What adjustment do I need to make because of that? You'll find that this seems like a little thing, and it is minutia and minute details, but if you really get your putting honed in, these little things start to matter to you. And this is a little add-on to your green reading that will help you hold more putts. Good luck.